Today, we're going to discuss analyzing the audience, but the big question is why? Well, it's so that we don't bore our audience to death and have them leave thinking, man, that was a complete waste of my time. So in order to do this, we're just going to answer a simple question that everyone in your audience is going to be asking, which is, what's in it for me? Well, I'm going to show you how we can identify or how we can make that connection with our audience. First and foremost, we need to find common beliefs, values, and goals that we share with our audience. Now, keep in mind that you don't have to sacrifice your own beliefs, values, or goals in order to connect with your audience. One of the many things that Indiana Jones and I have in common is that we both hate snakes, okay? And if I was speaking to the Snake Handlers Association, I wouldn't go up there and say, oh, I love snakes. I wouldn't lie to them, okay? I wouldn't sacrifice my own beliefs. But what I would do is I would find something that we do have in common, and I'd probably say something like, I don't own snakes, but I do own a dog, and I love my dog, and I'd do anything for her. Kind of like how you would do anything for your snake. What we did was we identified common goals, and that is making sure that our pets live long and healthy lives. Now, imagine if we went to Best Buy and the salesperson only spoke about what they wanted. Okay, we go in, we say, hey, I'm looking for a desktop, and they say, hey, you know what? Actually, you should probably buy a laptop, and here's why. We overbought, and so our warehouse is stocked full of laptops, and my manager's been breathing down my back to get rid of them, and so you'd really be helping me out if you buy a laptop. Anyways, I could care less about their problem. I want what I want. Same way with our speeches. We need to showcase the value that what we have to say will add to their lives, okay? And in order to do this, we need to identify demographics. Demographics are the statistical characteristics of human populations that are used especially in identifying markets and or segments, or say, in other words, what identity does our population share? What do they have in common? Because if we're looking at a demographic of age, the 65 plus have different goals and values and beliefs than, say, toddlers or even college students in their early to mid 20s, right? Same way with gender demographics or religious demographics or race, culture, and ethics. Now, understanding these different demographics are important, right? But what we got to remember is not to stereotype. And when we stereotype is when we start using absolutes, okay? I have a friend who's a police officer and she loves donuts, so therefore every police officer loves donuts, okay? That's a stereotype, not a demographic, okay? So keep that in mind, that the difference is when you cross that line into absolutes. Now, once we understand our demographic, we need to understand their disposition, and we'll talk about different ways of doing this. First is their interest level. How interested are they in your topic? How much knowledge do they have about your topic? And what is their attitude towards the topic? Another disposition that we need to take a look at is towards the speaker, okay? I'm going to show you 3 different speakers who have a microphone to the world, okay? Everybody listens to them when they speak. But here's the thing. Not everybody likes them, okay? And I'm going to show you these 3 people, and I want you to pay attention to how you feel each time a new picture shows up, because for different people, it will invoke different emotions, okay? First, we have former President Barack Obama. Then we have former President Donald Trump. And last, we have current President Joe Biden. Understanding the disposition towards the speaker is huge, because if your audience primarily doesn't care much for you or think, hey, we have nothing in common, then you're going to need to take a moment to show what you do have in common, to show that you guys actually have the same goals and that you're working towards the same thing. I want you to get what you want, and I want to get what I want. But if they're already on board with that, then you don't have to spend as much time doing that. Everybody's like, yeah, no, I know that. Now, understanding their disposition towards the occasion. So if you're asked to speak on a Sunday in church service, people are going to have a different disposition towards that event than they would say if you came on a Saturday afternoon to say goodbye to a loved one. So once we understand a little bit about our demographic, next thing we do is gather information. And the best way to do that is by, number 1, asking the person who asked you to speak, or going to the organization's website and reading their mission statement, see who they their charitable contributions are to, see what kind of service projects they're engaged in. Try to learn a little bit about their values and beliefs and goals. Another thing you could do is go in attendance to a previous meeting right before you speak, and you can ask survey questions like, do you know about the insanity plea, if that's what you're talking about, right? Or do you know who I am and my experiences? Or questions like that. These are called fixed alternative questions. The next one is a scale question. So on a scale of 1 to 5, how often would you say the insanity plea is used? Or how excited would you say you are about attending this speech? Things like that. The last one, which gives us the most information, is open-ended questions, or say opinion questions. What is your opinion of the insanity plea? Okay, or what is your opinion of, my ability to talk about it, or whatever the case may be, right? Now at this point, what I would do is I'd break the students up into groups of about 3, and then I'd have them come up with individual fixed alternative, scale, and an open-ended question, and then ask the other 2 people in their group, and then I'd have one person move to the left, and then one person move to the right to the next group, and then ask again. So now we have, a little bit more information about our audience for their upcoming speech. Now that we've talked about demographics, I want to talk about this saying right here. What you say isn't as important as how you say it. I personally would rephrase that to, what you say is equally important as how you say it. And so right now I want to talk about vocal delivery, okay? Such as volume, which is how loud or how soft you speak. Pitch, how high or how low. Your rate, how fast you're talking or how slow you're speaking. All these things communicate different things at different times in your speech. Now, if you have a low volume, low pitch, and slow rate, then you're probably speaking more solemn, respectful, and reverent on the matter. If you're energetic, happy, and passionate, then your volume is typically up high, your pitch is up high, and your rate is fast, right? Now, Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech, he started off really slow, almost boring-like. But as he kept going and he kept building on his points, he started getting more and more passionate. His volume became louder and louder, his pitch became higher, and his rate became faster and faster until he finally got to the part where he said, I have a dream, right? People mirrored his excitement. They mirrored his volume, pitch, and rate. They too were excited. Or you can do it the other way. You can start off super excited, but as you keep going on and the subject matter becomes more and more serious, you're slowing down, your pitch is getting deeper, your volume is getting softer, and your rate is getting slower as you talk more about it. Then there's also mountains and valleys, where throughout your speech, sometimes you're up here, sometimes you're down here. At this point, what I would do is I would show this video clip from A Knight's Tale and let the audience and let my students try to identify where they identified where the volume changed, where the rate changed, where the pitch changed. And I took out pauses for this delivery, but normally I talk about the power of pausing. And then I would have, like I said, I would have the students after that, kind of return a report, and then I'd break them up into groups, and I would have one group make a commercial for a Sprite can, another one for a Nerf gun, another one for Twix or Snickers bar, and another one to sell an F-150, right? Using vocal variety, and then give them a chance to stand up and deliver. Thank you.